Tēnā koutou e te whānau, ko Egan Bidios. So I was one of the first original 6 that helped set up Te Reo Irirangi o Tūwharetoa. So I came on board in 1991.
Ko Jackie Irihuia Ham, taku ingoa, I tipu ake rau, I tūrangi, ko taku pāpā, ko Lewis Ham, no roto mai o Ngāti Hine, korohe, ko taku māma, ko Hingatu Ham, no roto mai o Horoira, Tararoa, Tiki Tiki, Ngāti Porou. Hoi anō, kouau tērā.
Ai mihi kauana kia koutou o Tūwharetoa, nei rā ku mihi mana hau ki tēnā, ko whare Isaac-Sharland taku ingoa, tēnā anō hoki tātou.
I was there till after my 21st birthday, so to around 1993, so just for a couple of years. The shows that I was involved with was the Ham and Egg show alongside JL Ham, of course my nickname being Eggs, so it's simple Ham and Egg show. We got pretty adventurous back in those days. We weren't such a commercial station, so we had a bit of, I guess, poetic license in what we did. So we decided we'd be one of the first ever radio stations in the area to play some pretty hard out heavy metal. And so we had that as well. We had that as a power hour, we called it, which I know had a lot of our nannies freaking out, and I'm sure a few of them having karakia for us.
My memory of Tūwharetoa FM is that we were the very first rangatahi Sunday sessions. We were asked to, well actually we weren't asked, we were told that we were going to be doing the radio station as part of our like extracurriculars. But I was interested definitely in doing it. I had not a clue what we would be doing with it. And I think it was maybe 91 and 92.
She said, look, Dixon and Rangiiria, Aggie, Mum would call her, Dixon and Aggie are looking for presenters that have a little bit of reo. I said, Mum, I don't know how to kōrero Māori. She said, yeah, but all you need to do, girl, is tell the time, introduce the song, and say morena. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool.
So when we first started doing that, we made sure that before we started doing any of the power hour stuff, we also we made sure we had resources on hand, which were things like help phone numbers that people can phone, because there was some concerns that people who listen to that kind of music, you know, maybe going through a bit of troubling things in their life. So we made sure that we could provide some supports kind of prior to the show and after the show. We did have a number of phone calls that came through during the shows. From people who were experiencing some pretty hard out stuff in their life, so we were able to kind of pass them on some information and some phone numbers and contacts around who they can kind of get a hold of to have a bit of a kōrero with. So we were really aware of just, I guess, the ground we were breaking playing that kind of music anywhere in the country.
We had a lot of songs that we were into that maybe weren't appropriate for iwi radio. And we were told in a loving way that song is inappropriate. And of course, being rangatahi and being hautatu, that never stopped us. We were still trying to get our songs on and then wait for the radio manager or whoever was there at the time, which was my memory tells me that it was Dixon, would come down and he'd be ready to growl us, but we'd just turn it off and flick it over. We were enabled to, talk about ourselves, and our music always was about ourselves and how we felt and how we were feeling and how we saw the world.
You'd go in and you'd get your tapes, you get all the music, you'd get your little cassettes and you'd cue them to the start and you'd have them all lined up and you'd write down each song and how long, and along came the DVD player, cuz. Oh my gosh, out went the tapes. We were just handy buying DVDs.
Towards the middle of the year, I got told that I was the captain of the team, which was like, what? Because I was barely making it on time. Sundays for us were like lazy days in our house, so I was barely getting there on time anyway. But it was that was a good experience too in terms of leadership. And how to, and actually having to be where the buck stopped as far as all the rangatahi went. We had by the end of it, I think there was maybe 6 or 7 of us.
Even from the very beginning of all of us travelling down to Tūwharetoa, back then we just kind of like copied things, copied lots and lots of their music to bring back so we had some, I guess, some musical resources to start.
I remember Nanny Mari and Nanny Betty sometimes, Dixon would get us to tech for them on the Kaumatua show. Oh, they were awesome. And they'd be sitting there and they'd look at the red light. They knew when the red light come on, it was time to talk. And so, but they got into the habit again. They'd look at the red light and they'd go, oh, kia ora koutou e te iwi e whakarongo mai nā. And as soon as the light went off, they'd go, hey, anyway, because the music's playing, and they put their headphones back on and they're talking away to each other. They can't hear each other. Oh.
I really loved, being able to have a voice. I think that's where it started for us as young Māori wahine, having a voice to be able to talk about the things that we wanted to talk about as rangatahi.
And I remember Uncle Keith Tahini had this sort of like this big cardboard drawing of the board so he could practice. We were getting drunk. Can we broadcast this? We I don't know what party we were at, but anyway, we got back to the station and I had to sleep. I'm going to say this, whānau. I fell asleep next to next to Dixon, and my bloody arm got stuck under Dixon, and we were both drunk. Anyway, I woke up the next morning, and he was fast asleep, and I was stuck there.
It was Te Riot squad, or Te Reo Irirangi o Tūwharetoa squad, who were the touch team. So those are always real hard out fun times as well, with a whole bunch of everyone becoming involved. I mean, the whole thing was really, really cool.
Might have been our original Facebook, like we call them keyboard warriors now, but you know what I mean? Like, I think we had a real space where we could talk to some of the taki that we had. It wasn't a gossip session. I think even at a young age, for Māori, that is never what it has ever been about. It was a place where we could, I think, just talk about how we were feeling and talk about our other comrades in arms at the time. When you're a rangatahi, you feel like it's only you against the world. And so, I think it carved a real good place for us in terms of, leadership, using our voice, supporting one another.
Even the off-air at 6 o'clock. Off-air at 6 o'clock, and we could play in the studio from 6 to 6 in the morning. And I remember Dixon, he would put a competition out on air and he'd say, okay, we're having a competition for the best scones. Man, the cars used to come screaming into the car park. We'd go to town, we'd go to coffee time, and we'd hassle the aunties. And, just his thing was, let's interview people. Let's go and interview the old people. Let's interview the community. Let's get recordings of our whānau. And it's one thing about Heta, he was really proactive about. I do remember Korohori airing all the politics of Tūwharetoa on the radio.
And this radio station actually created a network of us that we were able to do that. So, nei rā, ka mihi mana hau ki Tūwharetoa FM, hari huri tau.
E hoki ngā mahara ki a rātou katoa, nā kaimahi katoa mai te tīmatanga. Ka mahue ki te tuku mihi anō ki a Danny Wikotu, e maumahara anau ki a Danny. Nāna ahau I whakaako ki te traiwa waka I roto I te kāpāku, te reo irirangi. So, mihi nui ki a koutou katoa e ngā kaipikau o tō tātou reo irirangi. Wishing the station a happy birthday and look forward to many more years of listening to Tūwharetoa FM. Nā mihi nui ki a koe te rangatira.
However, I just want to holler out a huge big mihi, big old whānau to Te Reo Irirangi o Tūwharetoa, wishing you an awesome happy birthday, happy 30 years old. Ooh, jingos makes me really old. And looking forward to another 30 years as well, if not more. Kia ora whānau.